Lady Madonna, released in March 1968, marked the end of an era for the Beatles, being their last single on the Parlophone label before moving to Apple Records. Written primarily by Paul McCartney, the song was conceived as a tribute to working-class women, particularly mothers, who endure the struggles of everyday life with resilience. Initially inspired by the image of the Virgin Mary, McCartney broadened the concept to reflect the lives of ordinary women, celebrating their strength and perseverance. Musically, Lady Madonna was a departure from the psychedelic haze of 1967, returning to a more straightforward rock and blues sound. Paul's boogie-woogie piano, heavily influenced by Fats Domino, anchors the song, while the driving rhythm evokes classic rock and roll. The piano riff was also reminiscent of Bad Penny Blues, a 1956 British jazz hit produced by none other than George Martin, though he didn't work on that record. The song was recorded over 2 sessions in February 1968 at Abbey Road Studios. They completed the basic rhythm track in just 3 takes, with Paul on piano, Ringo Starr using brushes on drums, and John Lennon and George Harrison contributing fuzz guitar parts through a shared amplifier. Paul added bass and lead vocals, delivering them with a hint of Fats Domino's iconic style. Later, the band improvised hand claps, tambourine, and a vocalized imitation of brass instruments. But the real brass came next. In a last-minute decision, McCartney brought in saxophonists, including jazz legend Ronnie Scott, to add more depth to the track. The sax players didn't have written parts, so that they improvised based on the vibe of the song, with Scott delivering a sax solo that would later be buried in the final mix. A decision he wasn't thrilled with, though it's preserved on later releases like Anthology 2. Lyrically, the song is simple but effective, depicting the trials of a working mother with lines like, "Lady Madonna, children at your feet, wonder how you manage to make ends meet." There's even a nod to Lennon's "I Am the Walrus" with the phrase, "See how they run," linking the song to the surrealism of the previous year's material. Interestingly, McCartney admitted he accidentally skipped mentioning Saturday in his rundown of the week's days, joking that it must have been a real night out. Though John wasn't a fan of the song, calling it just a piano lick that never really went anywhere, the public disagreed. Lady Madonna shot to #1 in the UK and reached #4 in the US. The band even filmed promotional footage at Abbey Road, which was later repurposed to promote the song Hey Bulldog, another track recorded during the same session. It's a track that stands out in the Beatles' discography as a pivot point. It's the sound of a band coming back down to earth after the cosmic explorations of Sgt. Pepper and Magical Mystery Tour, reconnecting with their rock and roll roots while keeping their ever-evolving artistry intact. The track is a testament to McCartney's ability to channel old styles, whether it's boogie-woogie or Fats Domino's blues, and make them distinctly Beatles.